They signed me in. And I'll tell you, people were crying. People that work there, professionally work there, that have no problems putting in murderers, and they see everybody. It's tough place. And they were crying. They were actually crying. They said, I'm sorry.
They were crying, the people who worked at the courthouse, and saying, I'm sorry, sir, and I can't believe I have to ask you to do it. But actually it was kind of beautiful and what's he talking about? I mean, the lying that is just kind of a natural move from this guy, like nothing that comes out of his face is ever based in truth. It's just a perspective that he would like to have if you took his potential into account. And this is the thing that drives me mad, because it's not like he's some random dude who's just saying this stuff. You know, this is the former president of the United States going on television and talking to a huge audience. Tucker Carlson has the largest audience on Fox, and is communicating or miscommunicating facts, not just about trivial things, about people at the courthouse crying when, he gets arraigned, but about the fact that he lost the election, and telling people that actually he won and Joe Biden is not the legitimate president. I mean, these things matter. There are consequences to these words. I mean, remember at the end of Trump's presidency, the Washington Post fact-checker team, they started cataloguing Trump's false or misleading claims. Well, they recorded 492 suspect claims in the first 100 days of his presidency. On the 2nd of November alone, the day before the 2020 vote, Trump made 503 false or misleading claims as he barnstormed across the country, trying to win re-election, just lying, outright lying. And, once the president is lying, then of course other senior Republicans will lie and know they can get away with it. So just say anything, and we hear it all the time. From Kevin McCarthy, of course, or Mitch McConnell, anybody in a senior position. And then that trickles down to the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, because they hear senior people say it, so therefore they think it's okay to say it. And before you know it, a kind of Chinese whisper lie has taken place, and you've got 70 million people thinking that that is the truth. By the end of Trump's term, he'd accumulated 30,573 untruths. I mean, that's what the Washington Post call them. Let's call them what they are. He lied 30,573 times during his presidency. That's around 21 lies per day. I mean, it started at the very beginning, do you remember? When he came out the day after his inauguration and said it didn't rain on his inauguration. He literally started his presidency lying about the weather. In 2019, he tweeted that Alabama was one of the states at greater risk from Hurricane Dorian than had been initially forecast. And then, of course, it turned out that Alabama would be unaffected by the storm, and he was so embarrassed about it, instead of trying to kind of apologize or walk it back, he just got a Sharpie and just extended the line of the hurricane on a map in the Oval Office. I mean, it wasn't even done in some kind of back office. This was done in the Oval Office. The Sharpie guy who signs his name like this then did this. He said that violent crime in Manhattan is now at a record level. I mean, he said this recently, trying to talk down Manhattan and criticize it, and criticize Alvin Bragg, and criticize the mayor and anybody who has anything to do with his arraignment and his arrest. Well, in 1990, it was nearly 5 times more dangerous in Manhattan than it is today. Back when Trump was, king of his castle. In the 90s. Recently, on the 28th of February, he said on Truth Social, the 2020 election could not have been fair because Los Angeles County agreed during litigation that there were 1.2 million illegible voters after the election. There's no evidence that the presence of inactive voters led to an unfair or fraudulent election. There isn't. It's been checked. It's been triple-checked. But he keeps saying it. Do you understand the kind of danger of having somebody who is such a natural liar, where the truth is of no value to him? You know how dangerous that is? I mean, The other day he was talking to Tucker Carlson and just kept saying he referred to the other N-word. Like, what's the first N-word that you're referring to? Is it something you think about a lot? Nuclear. Kept going on about it. He was literally trying to bring about nuclear war. I've never been able to compost before. I've been keeping food scraps in a bag, which doesn't smell very nice. And then I got a Lomi. Lomi allows me to turn my food scraps into dirt with the push of a button. Lomi is a countertop electric composter that turns scraps to dirt in under 4 hours. There's no smell when it runs and it's really quiet. And thanks to Lomi, I have way less garbage each week. That means it's not going to landfill and producing methane. Instead, I turn my waste into nutrient-rich dirt that I can feed to my plants. I feel so great knowing that I'm composting and creating soil instead of waste that I basically now have a limitless supply of dirt for my garden. If you want to start making a positive environmental impact or just make cleanup after dinner that much easier, Lomi is perfect for you. Head to lomi.com/weekend and use the promo code WEEKEND to get $50 off your Lomi. That's $50 off when you head to lomi.com/weekend and use promo code WEEKEND at checkout. Food waste is gross. Let Lomi save you a cold trip out to the garbage can. And then he lied. In March last year, he lied about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. He said it's been mostly empty for decades. Well, that's not true. It's been entirely full as recently as the early 2010s. The percentage only fell on Donald Trump's watch. On the 29th of March, in an interview last year, he said you go to any store and they don't have bread. I mean, where does he get this stuff from? Do you remember when he said you needed ID to buy groceries? Where does this stuff come from? And why, more importantly, why do people believe it? January 30th, 2022. He said proposed changes to the Electoral Count Act show that Mike Pence had the power and could have overturned the election. That's a lie. Under no circumstances would it give the vice president the power to throw certified state results into question. It's a total lie. July 2021. Here's a good one. He said there were no guns whatsoever at the Capitol riot on January 6. And he keeps repeating this, there were no guns there. These people were peaceful. They were tourists. They were Antifa, whatever he wants to say. Well, court documents show that more than 430 people charged with crimes related to the January 6 riot at the US Capitol brought guns onto the Capitol grounds or stashed them away while staying in Washington. Court documents. April 19, 2021. On Fox News, he said human trafficking and drugs at the Mexico border have doubled, tripled, and quadrupled since Joe Biden became president. Well, which one is it? Doubled, tripled, or quadrupled? Maybe it doesn't matter, because they're all lies. The number of drug seizures, the events of those are up, or were up 11% in the first 3 months of 2021. Do you know what that means? Yeah, that they're doing a better job at the border. That's what that means. And he doesn't kind of understand that that's the case. He thinks it means there's more stuff coming through. No, if there's more seizures, that means that the border people are better at their job. Maybe they're better managed. I don't know. On the 28th of February 2021, he said he requested 10,000 National Guardsmen for the January 6 rally, but Nancy Pelosi rejected it. That's a lie. We saw the video of Nancy Pelosi desperately trying to get the National Guard to show up when she was in a bunker. He lied about the trade deficit with China and saying it used to be $500 billion. He lied saying he didn't know about a payment to Stormy Daniels. He says windmills cause cancer. He says that his healthcare plan is coming. In 2 weeks it'll be coming, and a bunch of other announcements are coming. It's coming. Never came. It was just lies. Just playing everybody, playing his base, playing all voters, everybody. He was supposed to be a president for everybody, and that never happened. The guy just pretended to be the president, and now, of course, what does he get arrested for? Yeah, for a hush money payment to a porn star. I mean, how else was he going to go down? So obviously there's a bunch of other things. But the reality is that Donald Trump is not a trustworthy, a truthful, and honest man. He is a dishonest, lifetime liar, lifetime criminal, and why people gave him the benefit of the doubt at any point during his presidency or even in the lead up to his presidency, I have no idea. You know, anybody who has a kind of bullshit radar, you know, who like lives in reality are going to go, you know something? This guy's not the full ticket. It's so frustrating because America is worse off because of it. You know, this stain on American history is going to be around for a long time. And, you know, there's lots of now kind of mini Trumps who are going to carry on Trumpism for many years to come. And Ron DeSantis is just one of them. He's another liar, fascist, somebody who cares not for all people, just white Christian DeSantis supporters. Those are the people he cares about. And it was the same with Trump. And this is the tragedy, you know. With the latest blizzard of deception and the Capitol insurrection that it fomented, Donald Trump showed us once more just how detached from reality much of his political base has become, or maybe always was. And that is the biggest concern, is that now we have two Americas, a parallel universe where millions of people are living a lie. And the tragedy is that America is actually a much better place than they think it is. It's a much more genuine, loving, supportive, and progressive place than they even realize. I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me every day on the 5-Minute News podcast and on Sundays on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.MeidasTouch.com.